Alright gang, welcome back to our Triple Threat Challenge here on Zabby. It is May, and we're going to be doing these two fertilizing contracts right off the bat here. One is right next to us, the other one is a little bit further away, but not too far. But we're going to go ahead and do both of these. We're going to accept the contract for both of them, and accept this one as well. And that's going to be nice, right? That's going to be a decent amount of money, honestly. It's going to be almost, well, more than 6,000, really. So that's going to be very helpful for us. Get us back to 30,000, which is really what we started the last episode with. And then that way you can basically say that we paid for the sprayer, excuse me, and the herbicide for it for free now. So it's good. The chickens are doing well, by the way. I think they are 1 month away from being at puberty, and then they'll be able to start making eggs, and then eventually start reproducing as well. So that's a good thing, right? So we're going to do these two, and we're going to do 109 first, which is this field right here, I think. Yep. Now I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to turn off the auto application rate. And we're going to drop the application rate down as low as possible. Just got to remember that I did do that. And turn on the steering assist here. And we'll get underway. How's everyone doing today? Hope you're doing well. Things are good, man. Things are good. We don't have, like I said, a ton to do today. Just like in the last episode, it's mostly going to be a contract perspective for us. We are just kind of in the waiting stages here for one of our fields to be ready to harvest. They are not really that close, unfortunately, if I'm honest with you. But that's okay, right? That's okay. We've got contracts we can do, and we'll see what else we can get done today, too. I would honestly like to today, if at all possible, put down some kind of a shed for us on our yard area, right? We've gone for quite a while here without a shed, and all of our equipment out in the elements, so it would be nice to get them in some kind of a shed. And since there's not a ton for us to do today, and we're already doing two of the contracts right now, I think it makes a lot of sense for us to kind of spend a little bit of money and spruce up the yard a whole lot. Now, I don't want to spend anything outrageous. I really don't. We don't have tons of money. It sounds like we do, but we really don't. We are incurring about, near it makes no difference, $850 every single month on loan interest. And then we've got the fees and everything. It's pretty close to about $1,000 that we are incurring every single month. And that is not going to stop at least until January of next year. And there's no guarantee that it'll stop then. It could get worse. So you know, I don't want to spend tons and tons of money on sprucing up the yard yet. Eventually, at some point, we will definitely get to that point. But I think our money right now is better spent elsewhere. But having said that, I do want to put down at least one shed. Now, I'm not sure that everything will fit into the shed we're going to put down, but we can at least put the most important things in there. Specifically, the fertilizer spreader. It has no cover on it. We want to make sure that the fertilizing and the lime and anything else that we're utilizing in the actual thing itself has some cover. Ideally, we would put the harvester in there, and then you know, from that point on, it just kind of drops down from there, really, right? Probably you would want to do the baler and the sprayer, I would think, before anything else at that point. Are we going to be able to fit all of that in there? Probably not, right? Probably not, but we can at least see what happens and where we get to as we move along. How's everyone doing today? Hope you're doing well. Things are good, man. Things are good. Now, I do think we have a few things in our silo that we could look at. I don't think they're going to be best to sell yet. Maybe we missed something, but I don't think they are. So we'll take a look at them here in just a second here. Once I get turned around here, we'll pull that up. I didn't look in the last episode. I should have. That was a mistake on me, but I still don't think anything's ready until the middle of summer. So, but we'll look. The beans are July, that's what I thought, and we don't really have much in here, right? The mustard, we're just going to keep that in there at this point. Rye, again, just keeping that in there at this point for the chickens. Yes, there's not really anything. The only thing really we had to think about was potentially the beans, but 1,000 liters of beans, it's a decent price right now, but we might as well wait till July at this point, right? There's no reason to go and sell them right now, so. Now, likely, unless something changed and we were able to figure out a way to make it work, likely you're watching this episode on Saturday, which is normally when you would see the competitive one-tile challenge. Unfortunately, we had more issues with our schedules between the three of us. So it didn't happen this week, so we again apologize for that. It's just a busy time for a lot of them right now, them more so than me. Part of it was me this week, but I had some time where I could get it done, but not all of us could actually get the schedules to align properly, so it just didn't work out. But in any case, I am sorry for that, but at least we got something to watch. At least you got something else to watch, right? It may not be exactly what you were hoping to see, but you got something else. So, what else? Already finished the Kinleg Skyfin Aqua Farm series last weekend, which was great. This series is going obviously well. I'm really, really happy with how this series is going. And where's this other field at? I am going the wrong way. I thought it was up in the right-hand corner. I am going the wrong way. Okay, well, we kind of know where that one is, sort of. So that series, though, is over. It will have a continuation of that at some point down the line here. I also was talking a little bit with my members about... so they get early access to videos like this one, and they get a member series that happens once a month, where I kind of go through different ideas I have, or thoughts, things like that, especially when we're getting ready to do a new series. We'll kind of run through, an episode of 2 of how I'm envisioning it at work, and then I get their input and try to incorporate it whenever I can, right? So, speaking of that, where's the turn at? Here it is. We've been talking about potentially bringing back an old... Well, I say old, it's not that old. From FS22, I did a series where I called it like a campaign series, where basically I started with a small amount of money, small amount of equipment on, in this instance, it would be Riverbend Springs, right, in FS25. And then you do 15, 20 episodes on that, and then you sell everything, and you move on to the next map, and you continue that, and you bring the amount of money that you had from the previous map to the next map. Does that make sense? Hopefully I'm explaining that properly. And then you just kind of continue on and basically play through all the different Giants maps. So in this instance, there's technically 4, but then they actually added a few other ones onto ModHub, like Silverwood Forest or whatever that one's called, right? They added some of the other ones that were in previous games onto this to download for free. So that's how it would go, right? You would just kind of continue the process of going through these different maps and gaining money every single time and starting over with, a more lump sum amount of cash. And basically what it does is it forces us to start with a smaller type of equipment, which is what we're used to doing. For most of the time I'm doing challenges, I'm starting with smaller type of equipment. But then as we move along through that type of a series, you get to a point where you're utilizing a lot bigger, larger equipment, stuff that I normally wouldn't use because I do challenges 99% of the time on the channel, right? So it forces me to utilize some other equipment that I normally wouldn't use. And I kind of like that. So I've thought about doing that to an extent. I would say that the Z's Adventure that's been going on for the last 2, which was the Barker Family Farm series, and then the most recent Skyfin Aqua Farm series, I would say to an extent that was kind of a hybrid of that, because we're kind of carrying money over between those two, and I think the way that I might run the next series for Z's Adventure is kind of in that same mindset. So I think to an extent we're kind of doing that there. I'm not quite sure if I want to break that up or not. I really don't know yet, but the only reason I'm saying it right now, my members know about this, but the only reason I'm saying it right now is I'm kind of just gearing interest towards doing something like that, where we would start a campaign type of series in FS25, start in Riverbend Springs, do 15, 20 episodes, whatever it is, 25, whatever. Then sell everything and move on to Hutan Pantai, do another 20, 25, 15, 20, 25 episodes, whatever it ends up being, sell everything, move on to Sri Lanka, etc. Move on, right? The only thing I'm kind of considering there is, I don't like running 2 series on the same map the entire time. And we have our Can You Survive 25 series, which is actively on Sri Lanka, and it's going to stay on Sri Lanka until the end of FS25. And I say the end of it, it's not really a realistic statement. Until the next iteration of Farming Simulator comes out, whatever it is, whether it's for FS28, 27, 28, 29, 30, whatever it is, that series will be running. So if we do decide to do that, when it does become time for us to jump to Sri Lanka for a campaign type of series that I'm talking about, we would probably put Can You Survive 25 on hold for 15, 20, 25 episodes, whatever it ends up being, until we're done with that, and then we could bring it back, right? And I'm fully on board of putting that series on hold from time to time. We already did that in the past. We actually kind of just did a bit reboot of it because I wasn't happy with how it was going. So, you know, I'm not against putting that series on hold for a brief period of time, so that doesn't really bother me. But it's more of, was that something that would even interest you to watch? I don't know. The answer could be yes. The answer could be absolutely not. And either one of those are honestly fine. But I guess I'm just kind of gearing that interest to see if that is something that even sounds interesting or not. It sounds like I'm considering doing some kind of another series, potentially another multiplayer type of series. I haven't really figured that out yet. I don't think it will be with Rusty and Crustu, possibly maybe with Crustu, but Rusty's pretty busy right now, so I don't think it'll be with Rusty, but you know, we will do another one with those two guys at some point, probably towards the end of the year. We'll see, but I'm kind of considering maybe doing some kind of a multiplayer series still, to kind of replace the competitive one-tile challenge when it's over. I don't know for sure if that's going to happen or not, but we're considering it. Hopefully we don't run out of fertilizer here. I'm just now noticing how little fertilizer we have left. I did drop it all the way down. The application rate's only 18. I think we're going to be okay, but we're cutting it closer than I expected. So anyway, those are the ideas that I've got going on right now. So if you have any thoughts or any opinions on anything I just stated, let me know down below. If any of those sound interesting, I'm sure the multiplayer version I was talking about probably does sound interesting. A lot of people have really enjoyed that, and we have enjoyed it just as much, right? So if we can do so, we absolutely 100% will put another multiplayer series in there. So we ended up getting those contracts done. We had 6% of fertilizer left. Not much, honestly, not much. But at least we didn't have to pay for any more fertilizer today, so that's a good thing. So this is good. This is getting us back to about $30,000, which is a good spot to be in. And realistically, you know, for these sheds, I really don't want to spend more than $8,000 to $10,000, and that's at the most. Like, I don't want to really dip below $20,000 today if I can help it. We really need to have some money in the account based off all these fees and the interest that we are incurring every month, right? I understand we've got the contracts, so we can try to offset that a little bit with those, and we're going to be doing that, continuing to do that. That's not going to stop, but, you know, offsetting them is not really going to help us a whole lot with progressing. You know, we want to try to at least take some of this money that we're going to make from these contracts and utilize it to help buy more fields and equipment and whatever else it is we need, right? Obviously, right now, this early on, we're struggling a bit because we're just not making a whole lot of money. There's not really a whole lot for us to do, but once we start getting some more of these fields harvested, we actually start producing some more money here, we're going to be in a little bit of a better spot, right? We're a little bit of a better spot, so. All right, so let's drop this off here. There might be another fertilizing contract out there. I probably should have looked before I drove all the way back up here, but even if there is, I'm kind of thinking maybe doing a different contract. You know, we did 2 fertilizing contracts there. We probably should look to see about potentially doing something else, so it's not the same thing for all 3 contracts we do. There's not another fertilizing contract out there, so it doesn't matter. All of those contracts there got us to $31,348 though, which is awesome. So we've got a wood transport. I really don't want to do those. I've said that many, many times. That's literally the last thing I want to do. I'm only going to do those if I absolutely have to. There's another deadwood contract. Last episode, if you missed that, we had a glitch there where we couldn't even get to one of the trees. It was floating in the middle of the air. Super weird. There's some hoeing contracts, and then there's a mowing contract. I don't really love any of those, if I'm honest with you. The mowing one is probably the one I would go with. I would not even say probably. It is going to be the one I would go with. It would make us just under $3,000, right? After you take away the $640 to lease the equipment or borrow the equipment. Sorry. The other ones, I mean, the 750 is nice. It's quick, right? It's just a quick, easy one. But this is a little bit more money, so probably something we would prefer to do. So I tell you what, let's hold off on doing that just for right now. Let's kind of take a look and see what kind of, I'm gonna do a quick save here, what kind of shed we want to put down. I really don't know. I really haven't spent a whole lot of time, so I'm gonna look at it for a little bit, but then there's probably gonna be a bit of a jump cut here. I'm probably gonna utilize some kind of a mod here. And I got to kind of figure out where I want to put this at, right? So we've got our chickens here, which I think is a great spot. If I could get some kind of a shed that goes like this here up against this, I think I would like that. That's kind of how it was set up, if you remember at the beginning, right? There were sheds here and we removed them. It was kind of an L-shaped type of shed. If we can get something like that, I don't know if we have anything like that. We probably don't, but if we can get something like that, that would be pretty nice. This is a pretty nice shed, although it's $12,500, so that's a little expensive. That's going to get me below the $20,000 I was just talking about with you. This is nice, but again, a little too pricey. So this is one of the ones we had, I think, down here. Well, it might not have been this exact one, but it was similar to this that started here. Obviously, way too expensive right now. That's not even going to be a possibility. So let's just keep scrolling down here and see what else we come up with. I do know I have some installed that are a little bit cheaper. We can always go with one of these, right? These are super inexpensive, but it's almost unrealistically inexpensive. And I'm okay with unrealistic. Obviously, we're utilizing autoload and things like that, but, you know, it's got to be... I don't know. I use those a lot, so I just would like to try something different, I think. 475,000. Holy smoke, look how big that is. Okay, we're not using that, obviously. Okay, so here's some, but these are a little expensive as well, but these are nice. Because I think these allow you to change the colors. They do. So I kind of like that, you know, being able to make it a different color than just a standard red. Nothing wrong with red, but not really a color that I like all that often. And we have a lot of red stuff already. So, but $18,000 is a little pricey. 15 is still a little pricey, right? That's getting me under where I said I wanted to be, right? I said I wanted to be right at 20,000. I really didn't want to dip below that. So it's almost looking like none of these are really going to work out for us, at least not right now. I mean, I guess I could go with this smaller shed here. And kind of put it up against the edge here of the chickens. And then you could do another shed going this way, but it would look a little weird in the corner, I think. Yeah, so I'm not really... I think I'll just do a bit of a jump cut here. Let me just look through some of these, and let me see what else I can find, if anything. And we'll go from there. Okay, well, the first thing I'm going to do, so I was kind of looking through all of that. I still haven't fully made a decision yet, but I do think I want to get rid of this tree right here. I think it's kind of in the way for what I'm at least thinking about envisioning. I'm going to get rid of this tree here, and then this little twig tree over here as well. We're just going to get rid of these. I'm going to leave those over there behind the chicken shed for right now, or the chicken coop for right now. I don't think they're really in the way, so we'll leave them there. But these, I think, are going to be in the way for at least what I'm wanting to do. I kind of want to put... So let me just take you through it real quick. So, obviously, it's not all going to be today, but I'm kind of want to take... a shed and kind of put it right up against the edge here of where, clearly there was something here, and then this is just grass that's been growing, weeded grass, right? So I kind of want to put, sheds kind of running up against the edge with this. This area here, we talked about this before, right? And I think what I'm going to envision doing is taking this right here and just cutting straight across here, so extending this field a little bit, but then probably taking a little bit of this away too, maybe. And then just kind of, extend this straight through here. Obviously, we're going to have to wait till this is ready to harvest before we can do all of this stuff over here. But we can at least start over here and put sheds and stuff over here. So, just having that full understanding of what I just told you, I'm going to get rid of this, this, and this. And then I think I'm going to chop down this and this one. We talked about these a while ago. They are a nuisance. There's not really a whole lot we can do with them. But I think I'm just going to stack them up on the side somewhere for the time being, and then maybe eventually we'll have something we can do with them. So, having said all that, let's go ahead and get started here. Let's get rid of this. And I'm just kind of hoping that something better comes out in the used market. Now, the thing we're going to have here is we're not really going to be able to do a whole lot with this on the ground. That's fine. You know, it's just going to give me a better view of what I'm looking at here. And that's really what I want, right? I just want to be able to know what it is I'm looking at. I'm just going to set them right here for now. They're probably in the way, but I'm just going to set them right there for now. I just want to have a better idea of what I'm looking at here and what can be done. And the trees are kind of in the way a little bit. So, you know, even though the stumps are there, just ignore that. Imagine the stumps aren't going to be there. Well, that one just completely removes it altogether. Okay, that's fine. But, you know, just imagine the stump's not there. The stump will eventually be gone. I'm just utilizing it more for my vision of what I'm trying to think about doing here. Well, obviously, this vision could change, but surprising that I can pick up this big, massive tree, but whatever. What do I know? All right. And then we're going to take out these other little twig-like trees here we talked about, right? Because these are just a nuisance to try to turn around and everything else. Now, even with that stump there, it's probably still going to be a bit of a nuisance, but it's not going to be as bad as it was. I won't, in other words, what I'm saying is I won't get, you know, the actual piece of equipment, whatever it is, won't get stuck on it. It might have a bit of a jolt or a jump because it's going to, you know, drive over top of it, but it won't get stuck there anymore, which is really the most important portion, right? Hopefully it lets me cut this. It may not. Sure did. That's a good thing. Alright, so that is really the things that I wanted to chop down. So, we'll just leave them over here. Like I said, probably in the way at some point, but for now, they're going to be out of the way. They'll be fine. They're not planning to do anything in this region for a little while, so I feel like it's a good spot to put them for right now. Alright, here we go. Okay, so I still don't... what I'm trying to figure out is, you know, so I've used these in the past, right? But, you know, I could put one of these up here and I could make it not a drive all the way through, right? Just make it an actual shed, and it was very inexpensive, but I just use these so much that I really, really am wanting to do something different. Even if it costs a little bit more money, I'm wanting to do something different. So I'm really kind of leaning towards one of these. I really like these. They're a little pricey, but I really like them, and I like the fact that it gives you that option. You know, you can put doors on them. You know, you can change the color to literally any color you want. I mean, I can go to any color I want. I can go to like one of these, you know, colors that I've created if I want to. Or, you know, we can go to a list of different colors, right? If I wanted to make a pink, I could make... I'm never going to, but if I wanted to make a pink, I could, right? So, yeah, I don't know. I just like this one a lot. It's just a little pricey right now. But if you look at it, I mean, I feel like that would be a pretty good fit right here, right? I feel like that'd be a pretty good fit. It still has a little bit of room over here for you to do something there, too. But I feel like, you know, sliding this up, like, right here, maybe even a little bit like that, because I just talked about extending this out a little bit, right? I think that makes some sense. And that gives some room over here, too, where you could do something like this one maybe over here. I don't know. It might not fit, but anyway, you get what I'm saying, right? This one would be probably a little bit too large, but I think it would still work. You know, maybe we just do that. I don't know. Okay, anything come out in the contract now that we're messing around with that? Okay, we did get some more stuff out here, so let's see. What do we got? What do we got? We've got dead wood, again. We've got hoeing. We've got a mowing still. Stone picking, weeding, and the wood transport. Yeah, so I think mowing. Let's do the mowing contract, and we'll think about it a little bit more, right? So we'll borrow the items. We'll think about the shed a little bit more. We're definitely going to put one down today before the end of the episode, but that'll give us a little bit more time to think about it. And a little bit more money, too, right? Or, oh, there we go. We're done. Contract's done. So, all right. So we can turn that off. Go ahead and do a quick autosave here, and we can turn this in. Perfect. That gets us a 34,131. Not bad. Not a bad price. Anything in the used market? No, nothing in the used market. So nothing to worry about there. Okay, so I will go away for a few more minutes here. I'm going to figure out what we're going to do here. We'll put it down together, but I'm going to figure out exactly which one we're going to go with, and then we'll work to do all that. Okay, so I've made a decision. It's on either this one, which I installed, and it's a closer type of whitish brick. It's not the exact same color, but it's a closer type of whitish brick to what we have on our house. I would love to have something similar to that. Or going with the ones we were looking at before, which is like one of these where I can actually customize the color a bit and, you know, change it to try to match, you know, similar to what we've got. You know, for our house. Will I be able to get it perfectly identical? No, I will not. But, you know, if I can get it something close, something like that probably makes a lot of sense, I think. Now, the thing is, this is, I want to say this is a little bit smaller than the other one I was just looking at. As a matter of fact, I can tell you it's a little bit smaller. The only difference with this one is it's gigantic, but you can't change the color at all. And if I'm going to put this anywhere, I would put it right here where we're looking at right now. I've got to move, obviously, stuff out of the way because there's, you know, it's saying it's overlapping stuff. But what I'd really want to do with this is actually try to push this up against the edge here. So using the cursor here, the cursor here. This road here, you know how it kind of curves up like this? The way I envision this is just taking this road and running it straight down this way. So it'll remove a little bit of this, but we're going to take this field and imagine where this line is and go all the way down here and then cut it over, right? So that's what I kind of envision, is making that go straight here. So I'm okay with it cutting over here a little bit. But even if we do cut it over here a little bit, like I'm thinking to do, and it's going to look a little weird there, and obviously we're going to have to go around, you know, different ways. The left side bay here is still going to have a little bit of a tight squeeze with the chickens here, right? Even if I put it, you know, kind of further back, it's still going to be a bit of a tight squeeze. Can it work? Absolutely. Will it work? Absolutely. And this really gives us tons and tons of room in here. I mean, this honestly could fit everything we currently have in here. And then we still have plenty of room over here to, you know, add something over here in this corner and wherever else we decide to do it. Over here, obviously, right? Either way, this is going to be more than I wanted to really spend. This one would be closer than the other one I was just showing you. Like, this one's going to be a little bit more. This is 18 versus 15, right? I guess the other option I could do is put it here and then leave that as it is, and then just take this, because it kind of cuts out here, and just take this over here and go like that instead of removing part of this field and keep it kind of that awkward shape. I guess we could go that approach as well. Oh no, it gets a little, feels a little tight in here though doing that. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. Well, either way, we need to move this stuff out of the way, so let's go ahead and start doing that first and foremost, and then we'll figure it out. I mean, it's really just going to be, I'm fine with either one of those, honestly. I like both of those options, so it's really just kind of, once I move everything out of the way here and see it a little bit closer, what do I think looks best, I guess, right? Right now, I can't answer that for you, but because they're both something I think would look good. I'm actually going to put this over here. Now that we have the auto-load trailer, this almost makes this front attachment here kind of obsolete a little bit, but I'm going to keep it for a little while longer because we're not always going to use that auto-load. I told you that before, and I do mean that, but yeah. It's not really worth a whole lot of money, so I might as well keep it anyway, and I can utilize it for pallets, evidently. That's what the guys are using in the competitive one-tile challenge. They're using that to pick up pallets. So, I'm doing it the old-fashioned way, which sometimes works out well because I can stack things super high, and other times I've toppled everything over and it's turned into a nightmare, right? All right, that's good enough for right now. Okay, so let's just do a quick save here. I don't want anything crashing on me. It's got me really nervous with that glitch that we saw in the last episode, which if you missed that, there was a glitch during one of the contracts. Never seen it before. It was kind of weird. So this one definitely gives you a lot more room to play with, I feel like. It's not as big. I think the only problem here with this one is I'm not quite sure that the harvester will fit. I guess it will. I was concerned that maybe that top portion there might hit the top of this, but maybe not. Maybe it does on this one. Maybe this is the one I was looking at before. Well, it seems like this one's fine too. Maybe we should think about going with the smaller one for the time being. I guess I could the smaller one over here. I didn't think about that. The small one over here looks like it fits pretty well. And then I could leave this space for a little bit longer and think about it a little bit more, right? Maybe that's what we do. I mean, over here, this is really the only other thing that makes sense over here. We've got our area over here for, you know, servicing anything. And then we've got this area here, which we're kind of storing stuff in already. So, yeah, maybe we put it over here. I think we do. All right, so I've got to move that stuff now. So let's do this. I just really want the yard to look good, and the more I'm thinking about it, maybe I should wait until I get this field harvested here, and we kind of expand this out, and then that way we really know how much room we have. So we're not putting something down only for it to be, you know, we having to modify it again later on, right? That's the last thing I want to do is put something down and then be like, and I'm always bad about that, right? When I first start a series, I put something down and then later on, I just end up not liking the way it looks, and I have to modify it. So I'm trying to do the best I can on this one to not do that. I'm trying to think about strategically where I want to put things a little bit sooner than I normally would, right? And so I think that's what we're going to do here. I mean, I plan to put a small shed over here anyway, so, and that small shed's 15, and that gets us a lot closer to where I wanted to be at. It's still going to be under 20,000, but it's only just going to be under 20,000, so just is a little bit more of a comfortable spot, I think, for us, personally. So we'll do that. So let's grab that smaller shed here. I am going to try to make that color close again. So let's get this as close as we can here so we can actually look at it. The camera angle is not good here. Let's try it this way. I think this is a better camera angle. Yeah, here we go. Alright, so customize. Do we want doors on it? I don't know if I want doors or not. No, they're so expensive. We don't want it. Maybe later on, but I don't want it right now. So I think we did this color, right? That's pretty close. That's pretty close. Alright, we're going to go with that. We're going to go with that color. I'm just going to try to make things match a little bit better. Obviously, the roof doesn't. I wish we could change the roof. Actually, there's not a way to change the roof. No, there's not. So I wish I could change the roof and make it like a red roof like that. I think that would look awesome if we were able to just kind of keep a cohesion going. But this is probably the best we're going to be able to do, given the circumstances, right? Okay, that shit is down. So let's put some things in there. First thing I want to put in there, I think, is the harvester. We need to get some kind of a spray, power wash spray as well, so we can clean this equipment. They're getting real dirty real quick here. Real quick. I'm happy with that. I actually am very happy with that. I think that looks really good there. It gives us plenty of room for us to do any kind of maintenance right there, too. It looks relatively realistic, which is important for me. All right, we're going to put the sprayer up against the edge here. This thing's a lot easier to maneuver and turn, really, because it turns on a dime and it will jackknife quickly, so it's going to be easier for me to put this over in this corner whenever we do expand that field over there. Alright, so that fits no problem. I don't know if the drill will fit in there or not. We're going to grab the baler now. I'm going to try to put the baler next to the sprayer. And then if I can fit the seeder, the seeder itself, excuse me, not planter, the drill, in the middle, I think that'd be fantastic. I'm not quite sure if it will fit, though. We've got to put the fertilizer in there, too, but I think the fertilizer will be easy to fit in there. I could put it at an angle kind of behind one of those poles, right? Closer to the harvester, for example. This might be a little bit of a tight squeeze for this one when we do expand this field out. As a matter of fact, I can tell you it's probably going to be a tight squeeze, so maybe we won't end up expanding the field. I don't know. I really want to, but I don't know. We'll figure it out when the time comes. There's no reason to think about it right now or worry about it right now, Z. All right, we can definitely get this closer, so let's do that. Perfect. Okay, so let's do the fertilizing spreader here first. Use the John Deere. Haven't really utilized that today or in the last episode for that matter. But I bought it more so that I have a second tractor that we can have a worker help us with. At some point we are going to need it. Will we be able to upgrade? Maybe, yeah, sure, but this was very inexpensive, right? It was a used market purchase. It's very, very inexpensive, so. Matter of fact, we probably can put the John Deere in here with it if I really wanted to. All right, let's see if we can fit this in there. I don't know if it will or not. It looks like it probably can. Might be a tight squeeze, but it looks like it probably can. Yeah, it'll fit in there. It's a tight squeeze, but it'll fit. Perfect. I'm going to grab the plow really quick. I can move that on the side here, on the edge here. The plow can stay outside. There's no reason for that to be undercover. Perfect. All right. We're going to leave the episode at that point, gang. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you smash the like, subscribe button. In the case you've yet to do so, they are free to do. They help me out an absolute ton. If you have any thoughts, questions, comments, or ideas, make sure you let me know down below in the comments, and I'm happy to get back to you on those. Thanks to my members for all their continued support. As always, it really does mean the world to me. There is a link down below if you want early access to videos like this one. Check out the second channel. Check out the Discord. Everything's down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.